Welcome to the Debt-Free Millionaire podcast. This is Zach Edwards with another episode of season 1 for personal finance. That's right. So today we are talking about personal finance. We're going to go into something that's very important, and that's about student loans, which goes back to the bigger question of school. Now, high school, middle school, elementary school, very important. Everyone should go to that. No question asked at all. For one thing, it's free. Second thing, you're going to get trained professionals. But the question actually, before I say trained professionals, the question is, do you need public school or homeschooling? I'm not going to make that decision. This is not a political podcast, but I want to let you know that there are choices. Some states now, you can go to public schools, but you don't have to go to just a regular public school. You can go to charter school or a private school. Private schools are going to be a little more expensive because your parents have to pay out of pocket. Charter schools, still state supplied. They pay for it, but you do actually need to do a little more work with the charter schools to get into them. Public schools, anyone can get in. Now, there is one other option, and that is homeschooling. And homeschooling is great for those students that are self-motivating. Now, if your children are not self-motivating, you have to be self-motivating, and you have to be able to motivate them. Because if you're not motivating them, no one else is. And if you're not motivated by what you're doing, they're not going to learn. And that's the bare honest truth. I love homeschooling for what it can do for some. For others, you really need to look into going to public or charter school. Now, if the parents are fully engaged, then homeschooling would be great. But the parents have to be fully engaged, and the kids do too. So, that being said, let's go to the next step, which is, are you going to go to college? Are you going to go to a university? Are you going to go to a trade school? There's all these different choices. Or are you even going to go to school afterwards, after you get your diploma, which diploma, that's a great thing to have. Something everyone should have, diploma. But that's not going to do you any good if you do not go out and use that information and get a job. So you need to go get a job if you are only going to go for a diploma. But if you're going to go to a university, a college, or a trade school, those are great steps as well, because they will give you at least the basic knowledge of where you're going to go into. Now, it's interesting because I went into business and also construction management. And when I went to my first job, they basically said, well, this is all the stuff that you learned. Forget most of it. We're going to reteach you. Because they wanted to teach me in the way that the company sees it. But I had a great background already in a lot of different things because I went to college. So there is great things for it. And at the same time, you basically have to decide for yourself. Some people like to say, oh, you're going to make more money if you have college. Actually, it's not true, because you have for instance, there's certain careers that you can go into that are very much more lucrative. There are a lot of degrees that you can get that will actually suck up your money and not give you anything back. You will not go in, you'll not use any of those things that you learned in your degree. I won't mention some of them, but you know which ones they are. There are a lot of them that way. So the first thing you need to do is you need to figure out what you actually want to do. Second to that, and just as important, will it actually make you money? Because if it will not make you money, it will not pay the bills of your student loan. If it doesn't pay the bills for your student loan, then you really need to rethink these things. Because if you don't have someone that's just going to pay your way through college, and instead you're going to have student loans, you're going to be in debt forever. Because there are degrees out there that are completely worthless. Worthless. Not just saying they're worth less than other degrees, which they are. They're completely worthless, as in they will not help you whatsoever in the future. So find a degree that will actually get you money to pay your bills, money to survive, money, because money's not the greatest thing in life, but it does help you live, and it does help you pay your bills for the college, university, or trade school that you went to. Now, if you're going to a trade school, almost every single trade school, you will get a job afterwards. No question asked. You will get a job because you're trained in a trade, which is a contractual job that actually has jobs ahead of it. Now, if there were a trade school that had, again, I'm trying not to say any names of degrees because I don't want to point any of them out, But if you had a degree in something that makes no sense whatsoever, you've never seen a job for it, that's a university you probably want to skip because the rest of their stuff might be crud. If you go to a university that teaches you plumbing, electrical, drywall, masonry, ironwork, welding, computer science, I mean, it goes on and on, medical, there's all these different things that trade schools can teach you. So you don't have to go to university. You don't have to spend the money that a university would ask for. Because yes, universities are going to be way more expensive than a trade school. And their professors are paid way more money than a trade school. So you're paying a lot more money, and sometimes you're not going to get as much out of it. So a trade school might be all you need, depending on what you want to go into. Now, if you're going to go into higher doctor's degrees and such, then yes, you do need to have a degree from a university. If you're going to go become a doctor or a lawyer, those are types of things that you need to go into. But here's the big but. We are being trained in school that you have to go to university, and you don't have to. If you want to go start a career, start a career. Hopefully you can get a really good job with what the training you have. If you don't, and most likely you won't, for a job that you really want, go back to university. That's what a university is for a degree that is more than you're going to get from school, and you will not be hired unless you have. A trade school, though, just as important, actually sometimes even more important, because we need more trade workers. So that being said, let's go into what we were actually talking about, and that is student loans. Now, this is how to pay off your student loan more efficiently, effectively, and as fast as possible. The first thing to do, and this is before you get the loan, this is essential for you to know, is do not just get a loan and saying, okay, that's it. I got a loan, and not look through all the paperwork. You want to know all the details of it. Essentially, you want to know how long it's going to take you to pay, whether the interest rate is a fixed or a variable. Again, if it's a student loan, you want to have a fixed loan. You do not want your rate to go up and your rate to go down, because as inflation goes up, as interest rates go up, the amount that you're going to be paying goes up, and you will be paying more in the end during those times. But because of that, you might not be able to afford paying back your loans, and they might go into default anyways. But if you have a fixed rate, you know, this is exactly the amount of money I need each month to pay this loan off. This is how much I'm making. Yes, I can do that. If I can't, I need to find another job. If it's a variable, so it's not a fixed amount, if it's going to change, then you need to get a bigger, better job, because that's not going to pay when the prices go up. The second thing is very important as well, is make extra payments. We talked about this yesterday with a mortgage. It works the exact same way. If you pay bi-weekly payments, so you cut it in half, you pay during one paycheck and you pay at a second paycheck, great. That's going to allow you to pay it off sooner, and also by putting money in early, everything else is going to be principal, and you're going to be able to take a little bit off the top, lowering your interest rates every time you pay. Also, round up in your payments. If it's $265 a month, then pay $300 a month. It'll help you pay it off faster. Also, lump sum payments. These are great. Now, you're going to pay your monthly fee, but you're also going to pay, say you get a bonus at work or a tax refund. Throw that money straight into these loans. You put them straight into these loans, or again, we were talking about the debt snowball, where you put all your money into a small one, and then after that one's paid off, you put all your money that's extra into the next smallest one, and you pay that off as fast as possible, and the next smallest one until you get to the larger numbers. Now, say you're at the larger ones, such as a student loan. This is a great time to put all your bonuses in there, put all your refunds, any kind of direct payment to you, put into your loans, because that goes directly to your principal. Again, interest is how much you owe on that debt that you have. Principal is how much your debt is for. Every month you're going to pay a little bit, a certain amount of interest and a certain amount of your principal. So the faster you can pay down your principal, the more the money, because the price is going to be completely settled, but you're going to be paying more interest at the very beginning. That interest will then decrease over time. Another one, refinance your student loan. Now, here's the big thing. Student loans cannot be lost if you go into bankruptcy. But if you refinance it and all of a sudden it goes under, depends on your contract. But if you don't pay your bills, if you don't pay your debts, your name is mud. It means it's worth nothing. You can't say to someone, I promise you, and then not pay up, and then tell someone else, I promise you. They're not going to believe you. That's why there's a credit score. The credit score allows people to know how likely you are to pay. Okay. The next thing is to reduce your expenses and increase your income. Okay, again, reduce the amount of money that you're spending, increase your revenue. That then creates this big buffer. That's all the extra money between. With the less money that you're spending on expenses, the more money you're making, you're going to have a lot more money to put towards that debt. So, cut unnecessary expenses. Do side hustles, side gigs, freelance work, a side job, part-time job, such. Or sell unused items. If you're not using something, declutter your home. Go have a garage sale. Put them up on Facebook. Whatever you can do, sell those things and put the money straight into your debt. Pay it off as fast as possible. Now, here's another one. We already talked about a little bit, but consider the degrees. So the degree that you're getting, construction management, business management, something medical, and it's ROI. So it's a return on investment. If you're going to become a doctor and you're going to spend $1 million, but you're making $200,000 a year. I wish a month. A year. Then you can put $100,000 towards that. 10 years, 12 years, because of interest, you're going to pay that whole thing off. How great is that? Yeah. If you're going to go into, let's see, women's studies, and you're going to spend $80,000, and women's studies only gets you 30, you're surviving off of 30. You're not putting any money towards your principal minus the minimum amount that you have to in order to pay every month. And if you do that, you're going to be keeping this loan for like 20 years. So look at the ROI, look at the return on your investment in the degree that you're getting. Next one. We already talked about this. Be aware that there's bankruptcy limitations, and you cannot get rid of your student loan just by going to bankruptcy. It won't leave you. So it will stay with you forever until you pay it off. Something really good to know. Now understand the risks of co-signing. If you're going to co-sign with someone, could be a spouse, could be a friend, could be a child, and there's a possibility that that person will not pay up, you're going to become liable for paying up that loan. Because you co-signed, you're basically promising that if they don't pay up, you're going to pay up. Always consider who you are co-signing with. That person better be 100% they're going to pay their bills. Because if not, don't get it with them. Don't give them don't co-sign with them, because in the end, you will be ending up paying it off or feeling the same negative repercussions, such as a destroyed credit score. They're going after your income. All these different things, that's what's going to happen. Student loans are great if you are actually going to have a return on investment. If your degree shows a return on investment. If you're not going to, reconsider which degree you're going to go into, and if it's even worth it going to university. Again, you do not have to go to a university, but you know that you will be able to have a leg up if you do actually go to university. But with the amount of money it costs and the amount of money you're going to earn afterwards, you have to balance that out to see if you will actually be able to pay back your loans. And remember, before you can pay back your loans, you have to survive. So if this is the level of survival and this is the level of the amount of money you're making, you're not going to be able to put money towards your loan. Wow, that is difficult. Yes, that's all I'm going to say. It's difficult. I'm going to make that your choice of what you're going to do. But just know, I wouldn't do it. I'd rather go to a trade school. Trade schools teach you everything you need for a certain job. That's the kind of job you want. If you're going to go to if you want to go to university, go to community college. They're near free. They're not free, but with scholarships, depending on how good your grades are, through other means, they're nearly free. So go to a community college. They'll teach you everything you need and then some that you wouldn't have gotten in a university. Don't go to university until you're really going to go into your master's. Go to a community college and your associate's degree and bachelor's degree. All of a sudden you decide you want to go to a master's? Fine, go to university. That's where you want to go to university. A community college is not going to get you into that university, but they will get you through all the basic classes that you'd have to take at the university, paying the university pay, or you could take at the community college, paying the community college rate. Again, which is sometimes near free. So these are all ways to paying off your debt faster, especially before you even take out the loan, planning for it. Where are you going to go for college? Is it going to be worth it? Is it going to get you a ROI, return on investments? Are you going to be able to pay back your debts? If any of those are no, don't go to university. Are you going to be able to pay your debts? No? Then you need to find either another degree or don't go to university because it will suck you dry. So, even though we are a little announcement here. Sorry, I lost track on something I was doing. But even though I will be on vacation the next little while, I did want to give you a heads up that we will be sending out podcasts twice a week until we get back. And so, just so you know, we are still doing these. We just can't do them because we're out with family. Because we're out with family, we're putting our time, effort, and everything to spending time with family. And that's what the most important thing is. At the time, there's finances, but at the same time, family is always first because family will never leave you. Debt will leave you in the gutter, but your family will never leave you. Real family. Those who really love you. So, I want the best for you. I want you to succeed. I want you to get out of debt, and I want you to become a millionaire. And you will become a millionaire. You have to make that decision. So until next time, thank you so much for joining me, and we will catch you next time. Take care.